Good morning, everyone.
Recording in progress.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the December 16th regular meeting of the West Sacramento Area Flood Control Agency. We are meeting this morning by live teleconference pursuant to Government Code Section 54953, as amended by Assembly Bill 361, to reduce the spread of COVID-19. Members of the public have been invited to participate in this meeting by live stream or by available phone call. We will begin the meeting now with the clerk taking the roll.
Director Ledesma?
Here.
Chair Ramos?
Here.
Okay, and Vice Chair Alcala is absent.
Okay, hopefully she'll be joining us soon. With that, we'll begin our agenda. And first item is presentations from the public on matters not on our agenda. Have we had any requests from the public to speak?
No, we didn't receive any comments leading up to the meeting, and we invite anyone from the public to chime in if they have any comments right now.
Hearing or seeing none, we'll move on to item 1B, report out on closed session.
Morning. The board met in closed session this morning on the 3 items listed on the closed session agenda and took no reportable action.
Thank you. Item 1C, monthly year-to-date revenue and expenses.
Good morning, board members and staff. I'll be reporting out on the revenue and expenditures for the month of October 2021. In Fund 870, our balance started at approximately $6.17 million. There is no revenue. Expenditures were $17,000, making the ending position for Fund 870 to be $6.15 million. In Fund 871, beginning balance was $4.89 million. There was also no revenue in that fund, and expenditures totaled $306,000, making the ending position at $4.59 million. At the end of the month, the combined cash position was $10.77 million. As of December 8th, the position was at $10.74 million. Last month in the September report, I reported that our 870 table was inaccurate because it didn't capture all the fiscal year closing entries. But for October, it's finally there, and so all the math does add up. I believe the beginning balance for 870 for the year was $5.95 million, but it's now 6.25. So everything is captured, all the math adds up, so it's there. Let me know if you have any questions about that. And then staff is still working with state on a true-up payment for approximately $1.6 million that's owed through quarter 40. And with that, I conclude my report. Just let me know if you have any questions.
I have no questions. I just got a text from Norma, though. She's waiting. Oh, she's coming in. Let me let her in.
Here she comes. Okay.
Yes, I just admitted her.
Okay. Well, it's good. The true up went in the correct direction. So thank you very much. I see Director Alcala is on now. So
yes, I am. Thank you.
We will. Okay, thank you. We will continue on with the consent agenda. We have 5 items to consider. One being our approval of minutes from our last meeting on November 18th. Does any of the members have any comments or questions concerning the consent agenda items? And if not, I would entertain a motion to move the agenda.
I will motion to approve the recommended action.
I'll call a second.
Okay, it has been motioned by Director Ledesma and seconded by Director Alcala to move the consent agenda as presented. Would the clerk please take the roll?
Okay, Director Ledesma?
Aye. Sorry, swallowing cough. Aye.
Vice Chair Alcala,
Aye.
Chair Ramos,
Aye.
motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. On to item 7. Item 7 has 2 resolutions involved in it, so we will take those individually as we go forward. The first one incorporates a public hearing, and so I'd like to open the public hearing at this time and turn it over to staff for a presentation on the item.
Morning, Mr. Chair, members of the board. This item is a consideration of Resolution 21-1201, which is the adoption of an initial study and mitigated negative declaration for the YOLO Bypass East Levee project. The 2015 environmental impact statement, environmental impact report for the general reevaluation report is the programmatic level environmental document for the federal project. At the April 18th, 2019 meeting, the board adopted the EIS findings of fact, the statement of overriding considerations, the mitigation monitoring and reporting program, certified the final EIR and EIS for the GRR, and accepted the report and the report's conclusions. We did that in advance of approving the local design agreement with the Central Valley Flood Protection Board on March 29, 2019, and the design agreement with the Department of the Army through the Corps on April 5th, 2019. Those 2 agreements are the vehicles by which we designed the YOLO Bypass East Levee project, the project at hand. During the project level geotechnical analysis and explorations and the designs, they resulted in improvements for the project that were not described in the GRR. The changes include a construction staging area on port property, new and additional rock revetment on segments Z through AC, which is on the west side of the bypass between the Deep Watership Channel and Highway 50, a seepage stability berm on segment AA on the landward side, which is between Seaport and Channel, and extending a seepage line and adding a new pump station in segment AD, which is just north of the new Courtyard project. Consequently, the WSAFCA, as the CEQA lead agency, undertook a supplemental initial study to review and analyze any environmental impacts and mitigations attributable to the proposed design changes. Based on the information and findings presented in the IS, and by following the mitigation monitoring and reporting program included in the IS, the recommended action is a mitigated negative declaration under CEQA. This ISMND was prepared pursuant to Article 6, Section 15070 of the CEQA guidelines under the California Public Resources Code Division 13, Section 21050, et cetera, which describes the CEQA process. We had a public review period for the draft ISMND that lasted from November 5th to December 6th, and we held a public meeting on the ISMD drafts on November 17th. No comments were received at the meeting. We did receive 4 comments via mail, and we summarized those comments in the draft comments memo. We also received a comment from California Fish and Wildlife after close of business last Friday. That comment is being reviewed by the consultant ESA and will be added to the comments memos. So that's a brief overview of the supplemental ISMND to this point. Nothing seems to be confrontational about it at this point, and so I'll conclude the presentation and take any questions by the board.
Okay, thank you. Does any of the my fellow board members have any questions concerning the process or the document?
Not right now, no.
No.
Okay, hearing none from the board, I will open up this hearing to the public. And is there any members of the public online or via phone that wish to make any comments at this time? I would assume hearing none, and the clerk's not saying there's anybody on the line to speak, that we do not have any one wanting to comment at this time. So with that, I will close the public hearing, and I will move on to board discussion and consideration of the resolution 21-12-01. And I would move forward, and I would make a motion to approve resolution 21-12-01 as presented.
I'll second.
It's been moved by myself, Chair Ramus, seconded by Director Ledesma, to approve resolution 21-12-01. Would the clerk please take the roll?
Director Ledesma,
Aye.
Vice Chair Alcala,
Aye.
Chair Ramos.
Aye.
Okay, ayes have it.
Motion carries. On to the second part of item 7, which is resolution 21-12-02. Does staff have a presentation?
Yeah, we'll just summarize. We've been keeping the board abreast through the flood program updates on the PPA, LPPAs, but I'll give some bullet points on where we're at right now on it. The PPA and the LPPA, the project participation agreement and the local project participation agreement, they serve as the construction funding agreements for the federal project. The Department of the Army through the Corps is the federal partner, and the Central Valley Flood Protection Board and WSAFCA are the non-federal sponsors of the project. The agreements spell out the terms and obligations to construct improvements under the federal project. The PPA, the federal agreement, has a cost share of 65% federal and 35% non-federal sponsor cost. Under the LPPA, the cost share of the non-federal sponsors cost share is 70% Central Valley Flood Protection Board and 30% WSAFCA. Of the local cost share that's needed for the project, 5% will have to be in cash. Also, we're working on the 221 crediting packages for the Southport project, which is a significant amount of credit that we have. So once the PPA and LPPAs are executed, we'll be submitting that package, and that'll go into the reconciliation and the allocation of cost. The agreements won't execute until the federal funding has been secured. And I think nobody's quite sure about what that is and how it's going to look at this time, but we expect something sometime in January. So that initial funding amount and timing is unknown, but it'll be more clear, we think, in January. DWR is presenting their side of the agreement tomorrow as an informational item at the Central Valley Flood Protection Board meeting, and has an action item for the LPPA in January. And the goals of these actions, and including improving the Weibel environmental, is to position the Weibel project and the remaining construction packaging. So as soon as we get federal funding, that we can execute the agreements, finish the bid packaging, and get the project out on the street for bidding by next spring. So that's kind of where we're at right now. And I think both of these items are, these are good items that we have right now. We're moving into the next phase of our levee improvement program with these agreements. And depending on how much funding we get, we'll be able to fund a portion of all Weibel and move forward with our initial investigations on Sac River North Levee, which were the items in the consent agenda. And with that, I'll take any questions from the board.
Thank you, Mark. Any questions or comments?
No questions, comment that you're right, Mark. Kind of a good step heading into this next phase. That's something you guys have been working on forever, but we've been planning on for a long time as a city. So thanks for the update.
Welcome.
And I'll concur with that. You guys all have done a good job of keeping this moving along and pursuing keeping things teed up so that we can begin construction as soon as we get the final federal go-ahead. So it's all on them at this point. Good work. And with that, I would make the motion to approve Resolution 21-12-02.
I'll second.
It's been first by myself, Chairman Ramus, seconded by Director Ledesma. Would the clerk please take the roll?
Okay, Director Ledesma,
Aye.
Vice Chair Alcala,
Aye.
Chair Raymond.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Thank you very much. Very exciting. We'll move on to item 8A, WSAFCA project update.
Thank you, Chair Ramos. Good morning, Board. I think I'm going to do these in reverse order, given the actions that you just took. The Army Corps spend plan for the Build Back Better funding isn't due to be completed until January 15th. As much as I would like to say that we have a Christmas present before the close of the year, we're going to have to wait until after the beginning of the year to see if we made it into that bill, that legislation. Our intel tells us, so that would be the full 60 days that they would be taking to be able to announce that. Our intelligence tells us we may not see it until that date, or maybe just the Friday before that weekend. I think January 15th falls on a Monday. However, there were some other
federal holiday.
I'm sorry?
The 15th will be a federal holiday, so hopefully we do hear on Friday.
Hopefully we do hear that on the 12th or 13th. There are some other good news that happened this week. Maybe some of you may already be aware that the House put together the increase in the debt ceiling along with the Armed Services Bill. That went over to the Senate at the beginning of the week. The Senate did act this week on both actions separately, and so we do have a debt service, or the debt ceiling limit has been extended and should allow for federal funding for most of the remainder of the fiscal year, the federal fiscal year. So one way or another, we're optimistic about that. The continuing resolution, I think the last time we met was supposed to close, remember, at January 3rd. And that also has been extended into February. Now that the debt ceiling has been raised and they've already passed a significant piece of legislation in the Armed Services Act, we're hopeful that other pieces will also advance forward to fulfill the federal budgeting for the year. Just going back to the federal project, actually relative to the YOLO Bypass East Levee project, we were informed by the district that the action on the NEPA document on the finding of no significant impact is scheduled to be completed in the month of March. So again, aligning the PPA and the LPPA in advance and trying to get all our environmental documents completed will then help the process along so that we will be able to release construction documents once funding is in place. These are all just, we kind of have to go through these various processes and steps following some of the core process to get a contract out on the street. So we're still hopeful for that to happen later this spring. And then in our own backyard, Brian continues to work with our construction management firm to get rid of some encroachments. As you recall, there are a number of monitoring wells that had piezometers installed during the projects of the Rivers and the CHP Academy. So they're still working on identifying all of those sites and removing any utility concerns to make sure that that work can be completed. That concludes my updates for the month. Let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you, Paul. Any questions or comments from the board?
No.
Okay. All right, thank you. Move on to director's comments. Any comments from the board members?
Nope.
I would, my comment, I guess, would be to thank staff for all the work this year and keeping the progress moving forward on these projects. And hopefully we will see some very good news early next year, and we can see the federal project finally get underway. But in the meantime, I wish everyone happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and forward to getting back together in January.
Mm-hmm. And I just want to say Merry Christmas to everyone and a very safe holiday season. Thank you.
Yes. Have a great holiday, everyone. Thank you for all your work.
And Ralph, get better. Okay, we're
Will do,
adjourned.
Tom. Thank you.
Thanks. Happy holidays.
Thanks, everyone.
Merry Christmas.